I don't think any of us could have predicted how powerful Luahn truly is. First and foremost, his skill, Art Shins for Dark Allies. His art has scaling damage based on his HP and it reduces physical res. The true art is a stat buff to everybody and a physical damage buff. The super art is a super crit rate buff for himself and a crit rate buff for the entire team, and its duration is tied to how many unique races you have on your team. In terms of his passives, he has an equipment CT passive that if he's the leader, everybody on the team gets 50% equipped CT for the first 100 seconds of a quest. He buffs up everybody's crit damage by 50%, and he gives himself 100 art gauge at the start of the quest. Which all this is insanely cool. All this has so much use with Luahn, but I want to talk about his art real quick. I'm actually surprised more people did not mention this or even talk about it, and I really didn't start exploring it till one of my friends started telling me, hey, like people in the Japanese side really abuse his art. Because at first glance, it seems okay. You get scaling damage based on the more HP you have, so I mean, is it really going to be that crazy? Well, considering how GS is nowadays, absolutely. As you see in this gameplay right here, we have around 17,000, maybe even 18,000, depending on what equips are active at the time of us using the art. But let's just say for this example, we have 17,000 and not factor in anything else. So if you take 17,000, you times that by 7, ladies and gentlemen, you have a 119,000% multiplier on your art. This is 100 art gauge. This wouldn't be that impressive on its own if there wasn't other stuff to back it up. Considering that his true art buffs up physical damage for the entire team and gives himself more stats so it feeds into his art scaling, and the fact that his crit rate buff and super crit rate buff can last up to a minute if you have 4 unique races on your team, that pretty much translates to you being able to pop your super art, go into the true art, spam your art, and then just use your true art again whenever your stat buff falls off, and just keep that rotation going until that super crit finally falls off. Once you have all that set up, you're hitting ridiculously hard. Look at this. This is in the training battle right here. We have crazy stats. We have really good support with Hoka. We don't even have a full 4 separate units with unique race typings here. But as you can see, we are hitting ridiculously hard with every single use of this art. And I think it's just insane to me that this is 100 art gauge. That's all this costs, and you're hitting ridiculous damage numbers. The fact that you can abuse it like this, and if you have the team to abuse it, it just becomes so stupid. I took him up against Uga just to see like how crazy he would be, and look at how much he's chunking with his art alone at each of these. The health bar is just steadily going down at each of these thresholds. And as you see here, this is the damage that he actually dealt at the end of all of this. This is a Luahn that has no crest. We do not have a 4, we don't have a 4 plus, nothing is on this guy, so there is no stat increases apart from just what's in his base kit and what you get from Tasmons. If we wanted to make him better, we could put a level 4 plus HP up crest on him to give him even more stats, which sure, it's like, oh, it's like 500 something stats, that's not no big deal, but you can go deeper. Go over to Grand Crusade, get yourself a 4-star magic, or if you take this guy all the way up to LB7, get yourself a 4-star physical weapon and put a HP up crest into that weapon. It doesn't even matter what it is, just having more raw HP is gonna in turn increase that art's damage. And if you want to take it a step further, if you really were a big Luahn fan, you could get his luck up and get an additional 1,000 HP through the luck buff system. Which, I mean, if you do that, you're completely off the deep end. That is so much investment to one unit, but the payout is definitely there. If you're somebody who doesn't want to over invest into Luahn like this, you technically don't have to, and you can experience unparalleled power through Luahn by just playing Grand Crusade. The entire idea of Grand Crusade is leveling up your units, and considering the fact that you can level up your HP stat and you can keep leveling up the deeper and deeper and deeper you go in Grand Crusade means that Luahn's damage does not only just increase based on the damage buff you get in Grand Crusade, it is technically double dipping into the damage since he's also getting a scaling modifier increase every single time his HP levels up in GC. So let's say for an example, you can get Luahn up to 30,000 HP, which is not hard to achieve at all with a little bit of playtime in Grand Crusade. You are having a art that deals 210,000 damage. This is a art that can super crit and is getting buffed by his physical damage buff. Not to mention, you're going to be having Shadow stacking physical res down, Natasha's DR plus dark damage buff, and then if you invest later on into Zephyr, which is an entirely new unit that just came out in JP, Jesus Christ, dude. What if I told you there was more to this. That technically Luahn isn't all about his art because he has very cool synergies with all your favorite equip CT buffers. Since Luann's equip CT buff is a passive leader skill, it stacks with other forms of universal equip CT buff. As you see here, this is Sword God Luahn alongside Star God, and you see there are 2 equip CT buffs on screen. One is the active 60% equip CT buff from Star God, and the other one is the passive 50% equip CT buff from Luahn. You can take this even further if you throw in a Finn Aloha shorts, because that's going to be an additional 15% equip CT. And then let's say you have someone like Diablo on the team that's buffing up defense equip CTs by 30%. Ladies and gentlemen, your defense equip CT speeds are getting buffed by 155% equip CT recovery. And this is very interesting for characters that really appreciate equip CT more than just the average unit. Like for example, Light Sistina, or Fire Orvale, or even later on, Orvale D. All these characters have unique equips that go crazy the more equip CT they have, and as you see here, it's just insane. I'm really interested to try this whenever Orvale D comes out, just to see if like his art gauge is ridiculous with technically like his whole family on the team. So maybe you all can tell, I like this character a lot. I know some people are like, oh, but is he meta? Is he like the next big thing? Absolutely not. This guy is just the mono dark, one of the mono dark leaders, let me say. I don't want to say the mono dark leader because we still have mono dark demon with all those units, but he's going to be like the other mono dark leader that you can go with. The thing that I love about this unit and appreciate so much is how deep he goes with like all of his different stuff. He doesn't just feel like another character that was thrown into the game that's like basic gameplay. We buff up his damage with like all this stuff. He's gonna hit hard. That's that. The fact that you have to take a different approach in order to achieve his high damage is very cool. And the fact that not only does he have this one approach with his high damage, he does have some of these team compositions where he can abuse equipment CT. I really want GS to make more units like this that are so interesting, that it's not just as straightforward as buffing up their damage with regular universal damage buffers and you see crazy deeps. I love the uniqueness. I love that we have to think about this in a different way to achieve what we want to achieve with this unit. It's just a really good breath of fresh air compared to what we've been getting for the last like 7 years in this game. Either way, you guys have heard my opinion on Sword God Luahn, and I've showed you all the crazy stuff that he can do. You guys tell me down below how you all feel about him. Do you like him? Do you not? Are you already exploring how good he is in Grand Crusade? Let me know all the type of stuff down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend check out this video right here. It's talking about one of the biggest traps, or I guess you would say mistakes, in gacha games. If you're interested in that, click on it. I'll meet you over there. Oh, but one more thing before you leave, don't forget to drink water.